All right. So welcome back to another edition of Talk with Butch Tuesday. Today we have the spectacular and ever shrinking Brad Taylor. Welcome, Brad.
Hi, Butch. Thanks for that intro.
Well, not the terrible start. This is terrible. Should start over. No, you've lost a ton of weight over the last year.
Yes, I have.
You've become
70
a runner.
pounds.
You've become how much?
70 pounds.
70 pounds. It's extraordinary. And I'm like, it's an inspiration. Help me get on my weight loss program. But you've been running, which is I have not been exercising. You've been going out and running like a lot.
Yeah, every day, pretty much. I've added that as part of my routine to start the day.
Very exciting. Well, thanks for being here. Thanks for being on.
Thank you. I've never run before, by the way. This is just something I kind of picked up, and we'll get into it later, but I made that decision because it was somewhere I could do anywhere in the world. And my circumstances at the time meant that I had to be able to exercise wherever I was.
Got that. Yeah. Well, congratulations on the 70 pounds.
Thank you very much.
I'm down 35 in the last 2 months.
Congratulations to you. That's insane.
No exercise. That's just moderating my food.
Wow.
So
Fantastic.
exercise is coming. Exercise is coming.
Just add a little bit in there. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. All right. So let's start off. Tell people what you do. Who are you and what do you do?
My name is Brad Taylor. I'm with Liberty Mutual Insurance. I am a sales associate with Liberty Mutual. I also have access to 18 different carriers. So if Liberty Mutual is not the right solution, we can certainly take a look elsewhere. Before that, I was a business owner with my family. We were in the catering and event planning business for over 30 years. And my role there was the VP of Sales and Finance.
Awesome. Awesome. At Liberty Mutual, I love that Liberty Mutual has their own plans and then you can actually go out and get other ones. That's really awesome.
It's a fantastic strategy, especially because Liberty, I know the product and Liberty's a great company, but there are times that the person applying for the coverage just doesn't meet the Liberty Mutual model that per se, or don't fit into the.
Someone's not an emu fan.
That's right, yeah. Or maybe maybe their circumstances just don't make sense for Liberty, so we can go out and find them somebody else. It's a great program.
So at the core of my coaching business, Brad, I always talk about the concept that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Simon Sinek has, they start with why in his videos online, which are really awesome. And when I work with my coaching clients, I always start off with, why do you do what you do? What's the vision you have for the business? And my definition of vision is very different than like when you go to business school, create a vision, create a mission statement. My definition of vision is it's a statement for the difference that working with you makes for people, the difference you and your business makes in the world. So Brad, the first question, why do you do what you do?
That's a very easy question for me to answer, and I know that a lot of people probably struggle with this a little bit, but my family was saved by insurance. My daughter was diagnosed with leukemia at age 3, and she underwent over 26 surgeries, 64 shots in the leg, and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of chemotherapy for 3 years in total. And our insurance claim in the medical insurance was over $1.1 million. That didn't include the copays that we had to pay ourselves, but that was the actual insurance coverage of her treatment. So if you take a look at what $1.1 million worth of medical bills would do to a family, especially a middle-class family like my own, it would financially sink them and ruin them. Even if you're able to negotiate those fees down, you're still talking $700,000-800,000 worth of debt that I would have had to have taken on and tried to live with. It would have bankrupted my family. So I got into the insurance world because I had some angels on the other end of the phone that really did a great job of explaining my coverages to me. They did a great job of helping me navigate those tough times when I was getting bills that maybe I shouldn't have. And I opted to say that I wanted to be that angel on the other end of the phone that ahead of time, before the accident happened, was talking to people about their coverages and really diving into what it is that they're trying to protect and whether or not saving $100 a year is worth that opportunity that they could to potentially, deflect financial ruin like me. You would have told me 5 years ago, that my daughter had been born healthy and then at age 3, she'd be undergoing a life-threatening cancer battle. I would have been floored, and of course grateful for that information to have made that right decision. I was fortunate enough to have parents that told me never go cheap on your insurance, Brad, because when you need it, you really do need it, and they were right.
Awesome. That's great. That's a great reason to do what you do. So tell us some success stories where, other than, I mean, yours clearly. I couldn't imagine that amount of debt, and to have to choose between, debt and taking care of a loved one. It just doesn't make sense and difficult. So other success, like you've been doing this, what other success stories have you found in helping families?
Well, absolutely. I mean, right now everyone's going through this pandemic, COVID-19, and Liberty Mutual's pivoted very quickly with adding some technology features for people that aren't driving, people that are stuck in a home office like we are right now. And so just recently I saved a customer that was retiring. She planned on and driving even less. I saved her over $1,000 a year on her auto insurance simply because we were able to get her out of a standard program and into a program that would suit her lifestyle a lot better. So it's not always about savings, though. I also had another customer that I found was very underinsured. The last time he had gone over his coverages with his agent was when he was 25 years old. He had had no incidents, fortunately for him, that were his fault, and so he's never had to use his insurance. But over the last, 15 years, he's now got a very nice home. They've got 401k assets that they'd like to protect. And after having a conversation with him, we were able to switch his coverages into a much better plan for a very, very small amount more money per year. And so originally I think he was looking for savings, but then he ended up actually buying better insurance because quite frankly, I wasn't comfortable with writing the policy that he had, because I know that, he's going to ask me, why didn't you tell me that I needed this coverage,
Right.
when he needed it. So that was a big win.
That's so awesome. When it comes to insurance, having somebody that cares about the bottom line and protection is way more important than somebody looking to save you money or just sell you a policy. So I love that you do it that way. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. I refused to sell him the other policy. I told him he
Yeah.
might as well just keep it where it was.
Awesome. Good for you. Good for you. All right. So you've been a business professional for quite a long time, managing the family business and the insurance business now. If you could go back in time and give your young self some advice, when would you go to and what would you tell yourself?
What an amazing question, first and foremost, Butch. We went through the storm of 2008 and 2009, and just like everyone else has, that's at our age group, and we were in the catering business at the time. So you can imagine that industry was decimated, and we went from doing well to, I mean, I was working 60 to 80 hours a week, not paying myself at all, just to try to keep the doors open because my parents were so heavily invested in it. And I think I would go back during that time frame and just tell that person that, yes, you're going to have to work hard through this, but breathe, calm down. The storm will pass. Um, you will get through this, regardless if you're here or working for somebody else, or things will work out. As long as you can breathe, as long as you have a roof over your head, you're okay. And I think that everybody right now in this time frame can kind of relate to that too. But we went through that process for over 3.5 years, Butch, and I ended up giving myself a stress attack, a really bad one. Never had my body shut down like I did at that time. And I don't want to repeat that. And I think that I would have been better off to tell myself to take care of yourself better through that process rather than running yourself ragged.
So what I hear is, take care of yourself and have faith.
Yes, that's a great way of putting it. Absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. We've known each other for a while, and you know, uh, for me, you are an inspiration in so many ways.
Wow.
The way you ran your catering business, and the way you run your insurance business, and the way you take care of your family and yourself and other people. The generosity you bring, and even with dealing with Lily's struggles for years, you were always upbeat and always um, you always had the faith. This is going to work out. This is going to go well. And now she's clean, right?
She is clear. Yeah, as of March this year, she received her last chemo treatment.
That's so great. That's so great. But something really great came out of her illness and her struggle, right? And I'd love you to talk about that.
Absolutely. So, during the time when she was at her worst, I suppose would be the best way to put it, then when they were pumping her body full of radiation, radioactive bags, we couldn't even touch her when she was crying because her tears were fluorescent pink, and they were radioactive. So her hair was falling out, her skin was peeling off inside of her mouth. I mean, she was miserable, in a terrible place, and we were confined to the home. And I mean, way worse than what we are experiencing now as far as COVID's concerned. There was no mask. There was no ability to go out to parks. We were told literally go home, stay home, and don't mix and mingle with anybody else whatsoever except for a very small circle of friends.
Even a
You know,
small infection could
yes,
kill her.
at,
It,
at
it,
that point, yes, she had no immune system whatsoever. So a common cold could have sent her into the ER for 3 to 4 days and could have given her pneumonia and died. So yes, we were told be very cautious and take this seriously. Clean the food that you eat. So during that time frame, she had gotten to the point where she was miserable. Our entire existence was every day to the hospital for some type of painful treatment and then home. And after we had already been home for 6 to 8 months during that time frame, there was how much longer can you confine a 4-year-old at the time to literally watching TV or playing in the backyard without her wanting something else to do, besides going to the hospital and back? And how do you convince a child to take their medicine at that point when it tastes terrible and makes them want to vomit? They were already vomiting constantly. So it was like there was nothing positive that we could give her except for maybe a drive here and there. We'd take her out in the car because we could control that. And that's when we passed the playground. She begged me to get out and I couldn't let her. And that at that point was kind of the straw. That was the breaking point that said, what, why is there nothing that we can do? Why is there no solution? We can go to a hospital every day, but yet we can't set foot on a park. This makes no sense to me. Someone has got to have figured this out already. And I'm going to start making calls to social workers because this kid may never have a chance to have a childhood at the rate she's going right now. And I'm going to be damned if I let that happen. And so I made phone calls and no one had a clue what I was talking about. I said, it needs an indoor park, something clean, something hyper clean. I mean, come on, why can we come to a hospital, but we can't go to somewhere that's similar to this? And they just said, well, it doesn't exist. So we searched high and low. We could never find one. We ended up finding a similar version, but not a playground, somewhere in Michigan. And we just decided at that point we're going to build it. And so in the heart of Tempe, located between the two children's hospitals that serve cancer and serve other life-threatening illness, we decided we were going to try to find a space and we were going to build an indoor playground that was going to be cleaned like an operating room so that these kids could go somewhere and that the parents could reconnect with other parents.
and that is called
Lily's Pad.
Lily's Pad. And some miraculous things have happened. So it's still in the process of being built. And for full disclosure, I am on the board of
Yes,
Lily's
you are.
Pad because
Thank you.
Brad and I were sitting at lunch 3 years ago.
Yep.
And Brad was sharing this story about the heartbreak of not being able to have Lily go out and play and have her childhood. And I got moved by it. And I said, how can I help? What can we do? And he talked about Lily's Pad. And I'm like, I'm in, let me know. So it's been exciting to be part of the project. And as we share this with people, everybody gets inspired because imagine what families and kids go through with this. And Lily's Pad is just an opportunity to connect them and give the kids a chance to play and see other kids. And we've found like amazing things have happened, and like miraculous gifts and generosity. You want to talk about some of that?
Yeah, absolutely. We were connected with a gentleman that owns laundromats, a lot of them, and he had one of them that he had decided to close down, and the building was vacant at the time, and so we still didn't have a home for Lily's Pad, and he simply said, literally one breakfast, that's all it took, and he drove us over to the facility that morning and said, if you guys will have this facility, I'll gift it to you for the next 13 years free of charge. And a few months later, the leases were signed and we have a home.
It's awesome.
So
And how,
that's
how big
been
is that? How many square feet is that?
6,000 square feet. It's
6,000
about
square feet for free.
double what we were expecting. Yeah, it's a $1.1 million donation. It's amazing.
It's amazing. And now we've got to do the work to bring it up to code.
Correct.
Not up to code, but up to what's workable for kids. How do you keep it clean? How do you keep a facility like that clean?
So we've partnered with a company called Decon 7. long before the COVID came, pandemic. They were deep cleaning facilities for firefighters. Firefighters die of cancer now much more frequently than they die from a fire based on their suits. And so Decon 7 was created during the Gulf War to fight biochemical warfare. And so we hooked up with them early on, and they connected us with Baylor University. And Baylor University is now doing the study on Lily's pad. So we'll be sending air and swab samples to Baylor every single month to verify that we are clean and that we are as clean or cleaner than the operating rooms that they have at Baylor. And so Dr. Deborah Harris, has been helping us actually pick the materials to build Lily's pad. So all of the materials that are being used are being very, very closely looked at to ensure that we are producing the most clean and most cancer-free zone we possibly can make.
All right, and then so that's facilities and that's the materials. Now, once you're up and running, it's going to be expensive to keep that running. How do you keep that and keep kids safe and protect all that?
Yeah, so that's another beautiful thing. The College of Nursing in Arizona, we have a Arizona College of Nursing is volunteered their staff. So they have nursing students that are going to be finishing up their degree, and they have to do clinical hours. And once they heard our cause, they said it'd be an incredible experience for these nurses to come and work in pediatrics because they don't get that opportunity with the larger hospitals. So they have agreed to partner with us to provide all the volunteer labor to watch after these kids while they're playing. And in addition to that, they're medically trained. So it does not get any better than that.
It sounds like it's on track to open the doors in 2021.
That's the goal. The goal is November or December of 2021 to be open. We are hoping to start construction in January 2021.
So we're still raising, and I say we're still raising money for the build out.
Absolutely.
The budget's about what, 400,000, 500.
About 400,000. Yep.
Yeah. So we're raising money for that. So if you're watching this, I'm going to put the information on the screen. Go to liliespadaz.org and click the donate button and whatever you can contribute. And if you're watching, we're looking for major sponsors. We're looking for somebody who wants to sponsor. Tempe Police and Tempe Fire are involved in the project at this point. But we're looking for a company that wants to invest in Lily's Pad in the future and help us with the build out and get the doors open. So get in touch with Brad, get in touch with me, get in touch with somebody on the website. And we appreciate your support for that. So thanks, Brad, for talking about that.
Thank you very much.
And if you're watching this as we record it, which is December, we're having the Lily Pad campaign.
Yep.
I'm going to show you on the screen. You'll see a picture of the Lily Pad, and we do these in retail spaces, restaurants, great restaurants and supporters. And you buy one of these, and you put them on the wall. You've seen it with muscular dystrophy at the Shamrocks and things. So go online and you can buy your own Lily Pad, and we will put your name on it and put it in the window of the facility.
It's on Rural and Apache.
Rural and Apache.
And Lily actually has been hanging personally each one of these because we wanted her to see that there were progress being made.
So go to the One Lily at a Time link on the screen and buy your Lily Pad. So Lily has some more arts and crafts to do. So thank you. Brad, thank you. Anything else you want to share with people before we finish up today?
No, Butch, I just want to thank you for this opportunity. I have respected you and looked up to you for so many years, and to hear you call me an inspiration is kind of takes me back quite a bit because I've always found you extremely inspiring. You've known me before everything occurred in my life, and now it's an honor to be side by side with you on the board with Lily's Pad moving forward.
I'm honored to be able to be a part of it. Thank you for inviting me to do that. So, Mutual Admiration Society. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
And if you've been watching today, thanks for watching. Please get in touch if you need insurance. Give Brad a call. I am a business coach, work with people on creating their vision for the business and realigning your business to operate from a vision rather than doing what everybody else is doing in the world and trying to get heard over the noise of business today. So Butch Lieber, Jaw Coaching. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody.